Those who describe themselves as liberal Zionists, who say Netanyahu is bad, but Israel has the right to self-defense. Well, Israel was established in the ruins of my family and the Palestinian people. How can you ever justify that? Israel existed because my family and the Palestinian people were literally slaughtered and kicked out of their country. And ever since, all the Palestinians have been going through is murder, killing, war, land theft, occupation, genocide, siege. How could you ever justify that? It doesn't matter if you are a liberal Zionist or hardcore Zionist. You are a Zionist. And Zionism is a death cult. Zionism literally means that some people deserve my land more than me just because they are of this ethnic group. It is wrong. It is just racist. And I am anti-racist. I don't want anyone to tell me that just because these people were Jews, they deserve my land more than me. It just doesn't add up. It doesn't make any sense. And I will never, enough is enough. If you are a Zionist, you are a Zionist. Liberal or hardcore or whatever, right wing, I don't care. You are a Zionist. And your ideology is wrong. And this ideology has to be dismantled. I said it before, I say it again. This ideology is wrong and it has to be dismantled.
I've seen you on British media and I've seen the kinds of questions that you've had to deal with when you're trying to tell your story. When a British journalist is asking you, do you condemn Hamas? What is it that they're really asking? What's the real question there?
Do you know what the real question is? The real question is, if you're a Palestinian, you have to prove to me that you are worthy of speaking to before we start a conversation. You'll have to... they want to question my humanity or my ethics before they start. So if I condemn Hamas, then I am a good person to talk to. If I don't condemn Hamas, then whatever I say is ignored. And then and they want me to condemn Hamas. Do you know why? Because if I condemn Hamas, then I will give Israel a justification to carry out the genocide in Gaza. And by the way, I don't have a problem with condemning Hamas. I'm a very big critic of Hamas. I said it many times before. I'm a critic of Hamas. I don't like Hamas, okay? But I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to condemn Hamas. And I'm not going to say I don't like Hamas in a mainstream Western media. Because if I say it, then I am justifying the ethnic cleansing of the Palestinians. And I'm justifying the killing of the Palestinians and the genocide. This is how it's viewed. They want me to condemn Hamas, to use it as, okay, look, a Palestinian journalist who lost all of his family, he condemned Hamas, then Hamas is bad, then Israel has the right to go and genocide the people in Gaza.
Well, even he's saying Hamas is bad,
Exactly.
so
You
of
see?
course Israel has to.
Of course, and the war is not against Hamas. And we all know this war is not against Hamas. It was from the very beginning, and we Palestinians, we knew it from the very beginning. This war is not against Hamas. This war is against all the Palestinian people, every single one of the Palestinian people. And they will not stop before they ethnically cleanse the Palestinians in Gaza. So I don't want to be part of this war. I don't want to be part of this genocide against my people. We know their games. We know their traps. And we will not fall into them.
What are the traps and the tricks and the tropes used in the West to try and constrain how people talk about the Palestinian cause? You know, if you had to write the guidebook to the techniques that are being used to close down the space, what would be in there?
You know, I did my master's degree here in the UK, and my dissertation was the Western media coverage of the March of Return in Gaza. So I studied how the BBC and how other publications write about Gaza. And it was all dehumanizing. It was always dehumanizing. The Palestinians were always portrayed as, the Islamists and anti-Semites, We were always portrayed as we people who hate the Jews. And it doesn't matter how much we tell them we don't hate the Jews, we love the Jews as much as we love Christians and Muslims and other religions. It doesn't matter. If you are a Palestinian, then you're anti-Semitic. And you'll always have to prove that you are anti-Semitic. By what? Not by saying that I'm not an anti-Semite. If I say it from now until the end of time, I'm not an anti-Semite, I love the Jews, it doesn't matter.
You can never prove something isn't in your head. And that's why the game works in the way that it does.
Yeah. But how do they want me to prove that I'm not anti-Semite? I will always have to attack the Palestinians and watch my people burn and killed and genocided and say nothing about it. In order to be a good Palestinian, you'll have to be a silent Palestinian. You'll have to be a non-Palestinian. You have to attack your identity, your religion, your culture. And of course, like Hamas, right? Yeah, Hamas is not enough nowadays. So that is the trope, that you always have to attack yourself to be believed. Your story alone, it's not enough. My story alone as Ahmed is not enough. I was interviewed by the BBC many times. There will always be another Israeli next to me, so that my story, like on its own, it's not enough, you know.
Because then it's, oh, well, he's saying this, he's saying this. Who knows what the truth is?
Exactly. You will always, like, they will always tell you that this story is complicated. Israel-Palestine is complicated. There are two sides to the story. Hamas run Ministry of Health and all of that. So we'll always want to confuse you. They don't want to tell you the truth as it is. In the media, you will never hear about the settlements, for example. You will never hear how Israel is literally eating up the lands of the Palestinians. They will never let you know more about the Nakba. Literally, this is the cause of all of our problems, the Nakba. The media will never tell you about the Nakba. They will always start from the Palestinian reaction. And no matter how Israel kills people before the Palestinians react, it doesn't matter. For example, in 2023, before the 7th of October, it was the deadliest year for the Palestinian children in the West Bank. The media does not talk about it. But the moment a Palestinian attacks an Israeli, that's where the story starts. And there's a saying by Merid al-Barghouti, a very famous Palestinian writer, who said, if you want to win the argument, start from secondly. Don't start from first. And this is what happens in the media. They always start from second. They always start when Palestinians react. They always start when Palestinians make a mistake or not a mistake. It was always our problem as Palestinians to exist. And it's exhausting, but nowadays people are sick and tired of that. Finally, and I'm sad to say that it took us a genocide so that people really see through the lies of the mainstream media.
I want to ask you how it feels to be living in this country. You've said already there is a degree of freedom of movement and physical safety that you can have here that your friends, your family, your loved ones in Gaza do not have. And yet, of course, the UK government has given diplomatic cover to Israel. It has sold weapons. It continues to sell F-35 components. And I know that you work closely with Matt Kennard, who has been on this series before, who has kept an eye on and reported on the RAF flights which go from Cyprus and over to Gaza. We know about the political story of complicity, but if you could tell me a bit about what that's like for you. You're living in this country has offered a place of safety for you as an individual, but it is so deeply implicated in this genocide.
Wow. You know, this idea is I always think about it. I feel like, how should I feel about the UK government? The UK government provide me with safety here in this country. And I'm happy that I'm safe in this. I'm happy to live in the UK. I love the UK. I love the land. I love the people. They're amazing. The people here, they're amazing. And I'm happy that the UK government gave me the scholarship to come here. I came with a Chevening scholarship, which is provided by the British government. They paid me to come to this country and to receive education in this country. And I'm lucky. And by the way, I am alive because I got a Chevening scholarship and I managed to travel from Gaza to the UK. Otherwise, I would have been killed with my family because it was my home that was bombed. But at the same time, I think, okay, the British government saved my life, but it is because of the British government, Israel manages to continue the genocide. And it is because the British government, my family died in Gaza. And it is because of Britain and Balfour Declaration. We have all of this problem in the first place. Balfour Declaration. They gave away our homeland to the Zionist militias to come and kick us out. And they have always provided the cover for Israel, the diplomatic cover for Israel, the arms trade, the bombs. The bomb that killed my family, part of it was manufactured here in the UK. The aeroplane that killed my family, part of it was designed here in the UK. The bullets that are shot at my people in Gaza, some of them were imported from here in the UK. So the UK government, not the people, is deeply complicit in the genocide in Gaza. And not only the genocide, but the occupation of the Palestinian lands. And until now, the UK government still refuses to recognize 22% of the Palestinian land as a Palestinian land. They refuse to recognize Palestine as a state. And I always how should I feel about the UK government? And eventually I say, okay, I wish I did not survive. I wish I stayed with my family and was killed with my family, other than having to live with this struggle in my mind. That some people saved me, but they killed my family. So how should I think about it? What I want from the British government is to end their complicity. If they end their complicity, I will be the best lover of the British government of all time. I love Britain. I love the UK. I love the West, but I hate how they are complicit in the genocide in Gaza against my people, against my family. And I really want them to stop. I really want them to wake up and look at the Palestinian people as people, not as numbers, not as statistics, not as human animals.
I suppose I've got one final question. And we've talked so much about the way you have to shoulder not just the burden of grief, the burden of ongoing trauma, but the responsibility. You have to demonstrate immense resilience to keep going. I think if I was in your shoes, I wouldn't be able to get out of bed in the morning. I just don't think I would have that in me.
I believe you.
But yeah, I don't think I could do it. I don't think I could. So my final question is this. Where do you draw strength from in these horrific times? Who inspires you? What do you look at to feel a sense of hope or optimism or even just the grit to keep going for another day?
I believe in justice. I believe in human rights. I believe in equality. And I believe that the vast majority of people all around the world are good people. They're not bad people. They're not monsters. Although we are governed by monsters. But the vast majority of people in this country and in the West and all around the world are good people who all care for human rights, who care for the international law, who care for justice. And I read history. Not that I'm a historian, but I read history. They always know that those who cling to their rights, those who do not give up despite all the odds, they will eventually emerge victorious. And I know that the Palestinians are victorious, even if they're genocided, even if Israel carry out the worst human rights violation against the Palestinian people. The Palestinian people will always emerge victorious. Even if all of us die, we will be victorious. And Israel is doomed to have us as an enemy. We're not an easy enemy. And we will not just give away our homes. We will not give away our lands. We will never forget the oppressors for what they have done against us. Israel, for the end of time, they will carry that guilt of doing a genocide against the Palestinian people. And I know if we want to win, we'll have to continue the fight, the struggle. We have to continue calling for our rights, raising the Palestinian voices and mobilize action for Palestine. If we give up and say, okay, Israel is too strong to be fought, if we are scared of speaking up and sharing our stories, then that moment we are defeated. And I assure you, as a Palestinian, that we Palestinians, we do not like to be defeated. We don't like it. We like to win. And we like to be free. And we like to have our rights back, our freedom back, our country back. And until that day, we will not stop. Am I hopeful or not hopeful? That doesn't really matter. I will not waste my time thinking about hope and not hope. I will waste my time thinking about what can I do and how I should help in the liberation of the Palestinian people. Whether I achieve that goal or not, it doesn't matter. What matters is the journey. And I am living that journey. And the Palestinians are living that journey.
You're like this as an English literature graduate. This was Nelson Mandela's favourite quote from Shakespeare, and it was from Julius Caesar. Cowards die many times before their deaths. The valiant never taste of death but once.
Wow.
And apparently he had that with him in Robben Island prison.
Wow. Well, Nelson Mandela is someone who gives me hope and power and faith. He spent 20 years in a prison. The black people in South Africa suffered apartheid. They suffered what we are suffering now, right now in Gaza. I don't like always to compare, but many of the causes around the world are similar. And I think the cause of our pain and their pain in the past is racism. Our suffering in Palestine is because some people think that they are better than us, that more worthy than us. But the South African did not give in. Nelson Mandela spent 20 years in prison. Then he emerged as the president of the Free South Africa. And this what will happen to the Palestinians. South Africa was also supported by the Western governments. Nelson Mandela was called a terrorist. Eventually, when they got their rights back, when they were free, everyone thought, like Omar Al-Aqad says, everyone will always have been against this. And one day, everyone will always be against the genocide in Gaza. It will happen. I see it in front of my eyes. I say it before and I say it again. People, free people all around the world, they have seen enough videos and films from Gaza of dead children. And what we have seen, we will never unsee it. We will never forget it. The stories we heard, we will never unhear them. They will live with us until the end of time. And it is not the Palestinians who should be worried. It is the Israeli apartheid and the Israeli regime that should be worried about their future, not us. And we don't have to fight them. We don't have to go and be violent with Israel. Trust me, history will not be mercy with them.